Recording. It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 856. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Mike Smith. Thank you very much for downloading and subscribing to the show. Please visit the main website at miketechshow.com. You can email me questions and suggestions for show topics at miketechshow@gmail.com. Please visit the YouTube page. That's youtube.com/Michael Smith MTS. And while you're there, click subscribe. We broke the 500 barrier this week. So thank you, everybody who has tuned in to the YouTube channel, and click subscribe and then click like if you like the video. I really appreciate that. Thank you. This show is brought to you by Instant House Call. If you are an IT professional or an MSP, this is the service that you need for remote support. Instant House Call provides unattended and on-demand remote access. You can try it free by clicking on the link on the left-hand side of my website at miketechshow.com. You see a big Instant House Call ad. Click on that, and then don't forget to use the promo code MikeTechShow for your free 15-day trial. This show is also brought to you, and we were talking about them in the pre-show here. I got a great story that I'm actually going to next week. Magnus Box. My clients, I present, this is what I want for your backups of your systems, especially if they have servers. And a client a year and a half ago, their break fix, I wanted them to do Magnus Box. They didn't want to pay the money, and let me tell you, it wasn't much. Magnus Box is inexpensive, and you can pass it on. You can still make money becoming a partner and protect your clients. Well, their server crashed. They have a backup that's a week old, and they're lucky they even have that. And they will be onboarded with Magnus Box after we do the recovery on Monday. That's how important backups are. And you must discuss the disasters as you are reselling Magnus Box. They support all the operating systems, HIPAA compliant. You can get a free trial. And if you're a partner right now, you got to take advantage of the $100 bounty. Bring on another partner. Have them recommend you. You're going to get a $100 credit, and so will they. Mention, if you're new, mention that you heard it on the Mike Tech Show, and guess what? You get free white labeling and half price of the platform fee for your first 3 months. You have to do it. This is, if you're in search of a great backup software for your clients, this is it. Go to magnusbox.com. Now, wow, what are we going to talk about? I got so much things. Before I cover the topics for tonight, Eagles destroyed the New York Giants last week, and now they're in the NFC Championship game at home this Sunday at 3 o'clock against the 49ers, and we want them to continue with that, so go Eagles. I'm not wearing Eagles garb like I was last week, but looking forward to watching them stomp on the 49ers at home on Sunday and go on to the Super Bowl. So it's a nice being a Philly sports fan right now. Going to talk about Gasparilla 2023. What? A lot of you are, what? Okay, don't worry. And I got links for this. Going to talk about something very important. Yesterday, a referral from one of our clients that we had never dealt with this particular business. Their Instagram account was hacked, and I got to talk about this story. And something very, very important has come out of that I learned. Apple updates. Monday night, I spent updating all my Apple equipment. I got to talk about that. Antivirus built into printers? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Stopping Windows 11 from running? and we got some email. So first, gotta talk about Gasparilla 2023 is this Saturday. The parade starts at 2:00, and I want to bring up my where's the video capture? Let's see. There we go. Capturing my bookmarks. So the first link for tonight is about the Gasparilla Parade. What is that? It's where they got the floats and everybody dresses like pirates. We got the rope. It's drinking and just unbelievable. It's the history of Gasparilla, Jose Gaspar, and his crew. For more than 100 years, Tampa Bay has faced an invasion of freeboaters, marauders, and buccaneers. Ergo, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This area began by pirates, and you need to read about the legend, the history, the myth of Gaspar. And so this is celebrated every year for just drunkenness and it's fun. And the floats and the parade. I remember watching last year, I was watching it on TV because I had COVID and I was just stuck here watching it. And there's a lot of groups that raise money for charities. There's a lot of businesses that take part in this, and a lot of money is raised for charity. And this is just a very cool parade and celebration, and everybody's dressed and acting like pirates. And now you have some history of the Tampa Bay area in which I reside. Okay, gotta talk about what if you have a business client. Now, this is for anybody whose Instagram account is hacked, but we're concentrating on a business client. So I get a referral on yesterday, and the business owner, I'm not going to talk about what business they are. Let's say they're a deli and they have pictures of cheesesteaks and hoagies and stuff on their Instagram. Always food all over their Instagram account. Their Instagram account was not only hacked, they were able to change not just the password, they changed the email account for the account that it's based on, and then changed the cell phone number for verification. The owner of the business can't get in. And now to make matters worse, owner receives a text message where they're asking for money, holding the Instagram hostage. They are demanding ransom to give back the Instagram account. So you're like, okay, reach out to Instagram, and that's the link I have here. And I'm showing it on the screen. The first option is if you think your Instagram account is hacked, and visit this page. And you can say forgot password, forgot. Well, guess what? If you click on my account has been hacked, the owner used the email, used the text, the cell phone. Guess what? It's not showing up as an account because that's not the primary info anymore. So they have created a way to recover account when that happens. But guess what the solution is? The owner of the account, the original owner, has to do a selfie video and submit that. That will then match up with something posted on Instagram. Well, guess what? They only posted food items. There's no people. So here's the lesson. They are still working on trying to get back the account. You know, any business that has an Instagram account, you tell them this story and have them upload pictures, maybe meet the team, meet the workers, get human beings pictures up on Instagram. You don't have to do it all the time, but just enough. So now when you got to prove you own the account, you can send them a picture. The owner can send and submit a picture to the support email. And right now, that's what my owner is going through. Never realized that, and never realized that in order to get ownership back, you have to do that. Wow. That just blew me away. And the minute that I heard that, I was like, I have to share that with everybody on tomorrow night's show. So right now, what an important lesson. And unless someone has went through that, you would never know that. So what if you have an Instagram account and you do something artsy, or you're a painter? Make sure there's some pictures that includes yourself or includes the business owner. Very, very important lesson. So I disobeyed one of my rules on updating my iPhone. And there's a happy ending. Everything's fine. But never update on a single decimal point, like 16.1, 16.2. I always wait until it's 16.2.1, 16.2.2. Well, 16.3 iOS was released on Monday. And I figured, okay, let me first do my iPad, because the iPad OS 16.3, I was like, let's do that. So my iPad was my guinea pig. Updated, everything went good. Took a little time. Everything's good. I was like, all right, let's do the iPhone. Well, there was no going back after you do the iPhone. And a couple warnings when you do the iPhone. And we're going to keep going here on this for a minute. When you do your iPhone, mine is an iPhone, what is it? A 12 Pro. As a matter of fact, this is paid off 100% last month. So I'm going to go to T-Mobile and probably trade this in and get a 14 Pro. It gets hot. It was like almost at the point of overheating, where it was slow and it was hot. After this upgrade, it was extremely hot. I had to let this cool off. Then there were, not only that, certain programs that are mission critical for me would not work. I shut down my phone, shut it off. Because remember, during the update, it only reboots. I shut it down. The nice cold shutdown, brought it up, made sure it booted up, and then those apps started working and everything started cooling down. Oh, something else, make sure you have an iCloud backup of all of your data on the phone. You don't even begin doing any upgrade unless that happens. So I forgot that step. That's something I always do. Then for some reason it didn't auto connect to Wi-Fi. So I connected it to Wi-Fi. Then I update all my apps, because there were 35 apps that needed to be updated. And I know they were all up to date, but now you get a new version of iOS, you have to update. So make sure you have a backup. Be careful. The upgrade heats up the phone. Shut down the phone after it's all done. Make sure you're connected to Wi-Fi. Update all your apps. Test your critical apps. And then test the phone. Do a test text message. I did a test phone call to the business VoIP phone here, and I made sure everything worked. Okay. Now, 2 devices upgraded. Now we're going for it. Now it's the Apple Watch, and we do the Apple Watch, and this is a Watch 7 I'm holding up. So now we do the Watch OS 9.3. Woohoo! Okay. Now that went well. In for a penny, in for a pound. We take our MacBook, the 14-inch MacBook. Well, Mac OS 13.2 was released on Monday because the new hardware that was announced shipping on Tuesday. So 13.2, I was like, let's go for it. 13.2. Okay. So then I check, and this had automatically updated I have AirPods Pro, and there was a firmware update that happened, and it's interesting. It was right before Christmas. This firmware updated because I had stopped using these because it was cutting out, going off. I was really mad that I spent, what I've had it for like a year and a half or whatever I spent on these ridiculous price for an AirPod Pro, and to have them not working. Well, that firmware corrected everything. They're charging better. The sound is better. So if you have an AirPod or an AirPod Pro, go through the instructions, making sure that the firmware is updated. That is very important because they did fix a lot of things. So wanted to throw that out there. That's a firmware I was extremely happy that has happened. All right, that's enough for my Apple ecosystem. I have another pair. I have to check this out. This is an older pair of AirPods. And then at home, I have an iMac that's 27-inch that can't get the latest operating systems. And I have a MacBook Pro from 2010 that's too old, but it's still running great. And I can't upgrade. And that was one of the big reasons last year, right before New Year's, I had to get a MacBook to be able to get the latest, greatest OS because I have clients that are Macs. So I live in multiple ecosystems. And the biggest one is the Apple. I literally, I think I have almost every device that they make. And some were gifts. My wife got me the watch. So I think even the AirPod Pros might have been a gift. So I just figured I will put a link to the Mac Rumors where their article on the Apple releases and all the versions. And if you know anybody that uses Apple products or you have Apple products, macrumors.com is a must to have bookmarked in your browser. So I'm on the phone this week helping set up the scanning software that we had to reinstall on a server for a client, and it's called Drive, Drivve. And this is my multifunction printer kind of partner that we have a great referral relationship with, and they do all the high-end multifunction machines for clients, and we recommend them, and almost all my clients have a Sharp device, multifunction printer, scanner, copier, and the ones that'll pay for that and the ones that'll do that. And we get a lot of networking business from them. So we have a great referral relationship. And I'm on with an incredible tech, and it's early in the morning, and we're actually, as a matter of fact, it was Friday morning, And I remember this because I talked about last Thursday after in the post show that I had to get up early to work with a client and to work with the tech. This came out of that story. So he's been so busy with rolling out new Sharp machines. As a matter of fact, one client that's a big manufacturer had 55 multifunction business printers that he had to install. I mean, with a team, obviously. And he was the tech leader. Anyway, we're talking while we're waiting for things to update and install. And something that was installed on this new line of printers, and I have a link, Bitdefender is built in. I'm like, oh my God. So right now, Sharp partners with Bitdefender, and as threats evolve, now they can scan inbound and outbound to the printer. So they have advanced anti-malware technology scanning all data and files processed on the Sharp's A3 multifunction printers. And it can detect malicious activity and threats at an early stage before the business is impacted. That, I guess I'm late to the party on that happening because I think it happened in November, actually. It started. So I was really glad for him to mention that because that's going to be happening on upgrades to clients if they get the newer Sharp. Antivirus is built in. So, interesting. Let me know if you've already been working with this with other products. I'd be very curious where hardware products like that, where it's built in, especially a printer, scanner, copier. I think that's great, as long as it doesn't interfere with the day-to-day business and start blocking legitimate, it's going to happen, right? So, there's a legitimate scan and it's like, nope, we're stopping that. We're not going to allow it. So there's got to be a way to override it or to trust or certain things. The link will be in the show notes. So I thought that was kind of cool story and link to share. Now, client, Microsoft is, I guess, I was going to say conning or tricking the end user to upgrade to Windows 11, and they're making it more difficult to say no. So I have a client that must have, he knew something was wrong. He knew he did wrong, and he said yes that he shouldn't have because Windows 11 was downloading. Now I've paused the updates for a month to give me time to find the best way. He does not want to go to Windows 11. And I told him, don't worry. You have 10 days after you go to Windows 11 where you can back it out and go back to Windows 10. So worst case, if it does upgrade, you run it for a couple days and decide, hey, how are you doing? As a matter of fact, we have a client this past week where it happened on Friday. He went to Windows 11. The client called me. He's like, go back. I wanted to go back. And I scheduled my son to be on site Monday to have it go back to Windows 10. And it did. And it did it fairly easily. So can't guarantee that that's always going to happen. But this particular one, it went back. So now it made me start looking for all of the methods to try to pick the best method. And it depends on the circumstance of stopping Windows 11 from coming down without using a third-party utility. And then there's even, I think, a link here to a third-party utility that if you want to try it. So that's the link for tonight, how to stop Windows 11 update. and block it forever. Well, we're not going to block it forever. We're going to block it for as long as then the users are going to feel comfortable going to Windows 11, because it's, I think, April or October. No, it might be October of 2025, which is kind of late into the year. So we still got a couple years where Windows 10 is valid and we're going to continue to receive security updates. But you don't have to. Now, one thing we do for my consulting business, if anybody's getting a new computer, they are absolutely getting Windows 11 Pro. We are not going to mess around with a new system where some of the older refurbs that they won't be able to upgrade because they can't support Windows 11, which is kind of interesting. When I talk about the next link, I'm going to contradict everything I just said here. So we recommend Windows 11 to be pre-installed. I will only deal with the Pro operating system. I don't care who the client is. I'm not messing around, because if for any reason we have to go BitLocker, I want to be able to turn that on. There's subtle differences between 11 Home and Pro. The price is insignificant. I make sure that's our standard, Windows 11 Pro, just like Windows 10 Pro. So funny, today on site, because the user was having some issues, long story, they were Windows 10 Home. And shame on the tech support that we've replaced for allowing that to happen in a business. So we upgraded them to Windows 10 Pro today. My son did that. We have a whole process. I still have keys, even though I know they're not selling them. I think they stopped selling them a couple days ago. But I still have sources, and we get legitimate Windows 10 Pro keys and then go through the process. Anyway, I wanted to talk about that, how to cancel the Windows 11 update, how to stop it, and then now to contradict that. But there's different reasons here. So this leads into the hardware, and this is from Travis. Great email. I'm not sure if you've covered this, but it is possible to install Windows 11 on unsupported hardware. I followed the steps listed in the link before to install Windows 11 on a mini PC that isn't supported. It updates via Windows Update just fine. I don't think I would use it on a large company. As a matter of fact, I'm going to interject right there. I would never do this for a client. Never, ever, unless they were going to use it as a test system only to just test Windows 11. I picked a system that my son is going to use, and we are going to go through this process because we do need a test system for Windows 11. But never a production computer for a client. I will never do this. But if you want to play and you don't want to spend a lot of money on the new hardware to support Windows 11, then yeah, you go for this. He continues, I don't think I would use it on a large company that has any kind of regulatory concerns, but for some smaller clients that don't have the budget to upgrade all their system once Windows 10 hits end of life, this could be a viable option. That scares me. I have included the link to the article with the steps. Thanks for all your work and information that you pass on. Travis, thank you. And this link will be in the show notes. Got a lot of links for tonight. And this one will absolutely be in the show notes. And use at your own risk. I would only do it in a test environment. Now, what if a client, they really didn't have the money, and they were faced with no security updates happening on Windows 10? I don't know. Even then, I would make them sign a caveat that I'm not responsible for security updates that may not happen. It might get a point that, what if Microsoft pushes something down that stops this from working? We can't take that risk. But here's how you do it. And then you got to make that decision. So wanted to share that. That's, I think, the dichotomy on here with Windows 11, it's interesting, but we want to stop it on one case, but hey, let's go there and install it on another. So follow those instructions. Okay, email from Dallas. A couple of shows ago, you mentioned having an issue with Outlook search for one of your clients. Have you tried the Microsoft support and recovery tool? I am embarrassed to say no. And I've talked about this tool and didn't even think about it. You mentioned this tool, he continues. This tool helped you before in solving Office-related issues, so I thought I would bring it up. Good luck. Dallas, thank you for using my own words back to me. I will use that Microsoft support and recovery tool for Office. So thank you, Dallas, for reminding me. I do so many shows. I have so many links. It is impossible to remember everything. So luckily, I am blessed with listeners who listen and think and we're like, ooh, yeah, hey, I remember that. Yeah, and hey, hit me up with that. You let me know. Final email for tonight, and I replied back to Don. Mike, are you still active in BNI? That's Business Networking International. I just got an invite to join a local chapter. Do you recommend joining? And I absolutely said yes. And here's why. I was a member of BNI for over 10 years. Now my son is in that chapter because becoming a snowbird and traveling, I can't make a weekly meeting. It's impossible. So when it was all Zoom, yeah, that was good. But my son goes to the meetings, and it's a Thursday lunch meeting, the one he's in, and that helped build my entire business. It's a business referral organization, and more than half of my current clients all can be tracked back to a BNI referral. Now, I've had listeners write in that it wasn't for them. Okay. But remember, you got to put the work in. If you go to the meeting and let's say you don't show up all the time, well, don't expect referrals. You're wasting your money. Let's say you go to the meetings, but then you don't meet outside for the one-on-ones because you got to meet separately one-on-ones at least, once a month with everybody to basically you teach them how to get you referrals. So if you don't do that, well, guess what? You're not going to get the referrals. You only join BNI if you're willing to put the work in because it's nothing. You're not just going to walk in and here I am. Give me the business. It's not going to happen. You got to do a little work at it. Now, as funny as that is, the first meeting I went to, I got 5 referrals for business. So they were in desperate need of an IT company for help. You don't want just the individuals. You want their clients. And what you end up doing in the course of this is teaching them. Let's say you have 30 members in a chapter. Well, I look at that. I would look around the room and say, to myself, that is 29 salespeople that I don't have to pay a commission for to get business. So depending on how you look at it, are you going to put in some work? You got to visit chapters, find the right chapter that's friendly, that's got a lot. And you can even visit other chapters. My son on Wednesday visited a chapter. He was subbing for someone who is a member that is one of our clients. And this is another chapter. And it's a huge chapter. It's got 50 members. And they were dying to meet an IT person to be able to give referrals because they can give out of chapter referrals. They can give referrals to my son, even though he's in another chapter. He had 20 people of the 50 come up after the meeting and asked for his business card. So for MHS Consulting, my consulting company, the annual fee, membership fee that we pay, I look at that as that's what I pay for advertising for the year. Not a dime more on anything else. I have been in B&I, like I said, over 10 years. My son's now on his second year. He's done so well. He made such an impact in his first year. He's the president of the B&I chapter this year. Now, that hurts me because he's less available on Thursdays because he's got so much to do. But I know it's worth it. All right. So let me, I paused there for a second because must have been, I was talking so loud, the Alexa device in the kitchen went off and she started talking because it sounded like someone's talking in the outer room. And I was listening and I was like, that's Alexa. It's funny. She's not talking here because I've remembered to mute it in this room when I'm recording. So for me, it was a thumbs up for B&I. And again, mileage will vary depending on your area, your organization, but you go check them out. You have some lunch or they have breakfast chapters. You go check them out. You meet everybody. You don't have to join. You can visit a few chapters and then pick the one that fits your needs, that you felt comfortable with, that you feel like, this is good. So that is it for tonight's show. I know if you're listening, you got something out of it. I had some really great, varied topics, I thought, tonight. Next week's going to be more deep into the trenches. I can just feel it in my bones for some of the work that's happening tomorrow and Monday and next week. So I will be venting on Thursday. I guarantee it. Make sure to please support the sponsors and affiliate. The sponsors, Instant House Call for remote access, Magnus Box for all your backup needs, and Fabs Auto Backup 7 Pro, the best program that you could possibly have to transfer settings and files from one system to another. That's it. Everybody have a great week. Go Eagles. See you here Thursday night. Same time, same channel. Bye-bye.